All right, so like I explained in the last video, I have 15 minutes left over from last week that I didn't read. So we're gonna do that in this one. And at the end of the video, I'll make sure to try to say if I completed this or not, which I should, but just in case I don't, then I gotta be honest. Week 7, I think. All right, let's get into it. Quote of the day. All right, kind of a long one, but also I have to read 25 minutes today, which is kind of a lot, but really it's not that much. I messed up last week. Well, I didn't really mess up. I just didn't have time, so I gotta make time now. It's good for me. All right, this one's kind of long, but if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains but have no love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames but have not love, I gain nothing. Straight over my head. Understood absolutely none of that. All right, let's read the thoughts on today's verse. Love. In the days leading up to Valentine's Day, let's remember the real meaning of true love and not dilute it with the many sappy expressions of limited human love, oftentimes based in lust rather than genuine love. I'm certainly not against expressing our love to others on Valentine's Day, but it can get so sappy, sentimental, and manipulative. Without a motivation centered on why we are expressing love, all Christian activities are more emotion and commotion than true love. True love is the expression of Christ's sacrificial character through deeds of love offered to others without expecting anything in return. Let's refuse to get lost in the annual trip down sentimentality lane. Too many of us forget the needed daily dose of love that so often get lost in the grid of day-to-day relationships. Let's be loving all year round, showing ourselves to be true Jesus's disciples. That makes sense. I don't know. I didn't get none of that, but I got this. This makes sense. I don't really need to explain it because it's pretty explained. And also, I'll keep it a buck. I'm still a little confused, but I get it. All right, let's start reading. All right, 25 minutes of reading. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know if I'll make it. Also repping the Deshaun Strickland because he's fight next weekend. But not important. Where's the reading? Where's my book? Behind me. I always put it somewhere different. I said I would reread the Jesus heals a man born blind part because I rushed through it, but so I'm gonna reread it. So I remember this part instantly. The first two sentences. There was a man born blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, Rabbi, and Rabbi remember means teacher, remember, and they ask him, who sinned, his parents or this man, that he was born blind? Because like what like because or Jesus teaches about sin caused bad stuff. So why did he get this curse? And why is he born blind? Because his parents sinned or because it's something he did? And see, now that I reread this, it makes more sense than the first time I read it. Because it says, Jesus answered, it is not the man that sinned or his parents, but the works of God, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day, and night is coming when no one can work. So what that means is, unfortunately, he was cursed of being blind, so that Jesus could work his works on him, so that Jesus could work a miracle. Is how I read that. And then he spits on the ground, makes mud with the saliva, anointed the man's eyes with the mud, and said to him, go, wash in the pool of Siloam. And he came back seeing after he washed. And then everybody was like, is that not the man that we seen that was blind? So apparently it was the Sabbath day that this happened, that Jesus did this. And I assume Sabbath is like the Sundays, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, it was on a Sabbath day. And the Pharisees, which I think is like the officials and stuff, asked the man how he gained his sight. And they told him, and he told them that a man from God, Jesus, healed him. And then the Pharisees are like, well, it's Sabbath. So he's working on the Sabbath, so this man cannot be from God. And then, but some others were saying, how can a man who is a sinner do such signs? So they didn't believe the man that was blind and none of that could see. So they called his parents. His parents told the Pharisees that he was blind but we do not know of who opened his eyes. Ask him, he is of age. Because his parents were fearful, because if anyone were to confess Jesus to be Christ, they would get put out of the synagogue, which that means would be like, I think that means like I would be like excommunicated from the church. So the man was low key preaching. He was saying some great things. I'm not gonna go over all of them. And then they got mad at him and said, "You were born in utter sin, and you would teach us." And they cast him out. So I think that means they excommunicated him, which is sad. But Jesus found him and asked him if he believed in the Son of Man. And he said, "Who is the Son of Man?" And then Jesus told him, "You're speaking to him." And he's like, "Lord, I praise you." And he believes and he worshiped him. So they asked him, "If enough of these games, if you are Christ, then tell us plainly." And he basically told them, "I have told you so many times, why do you not believe me? I am one of God," he said. And then it said, oh wait, no, he said, "I and the Father are one." And the Jews picked up stones again to stone him. And then Jesus tells them about he's made good works. And then the Jews tell him that this is blasphemy, that you make yourself God. They tried to arrest him, but he escaped from their hands. Sad stuff, man. Okay, so it's talking about Jesus had I don't know if he was a friend or a friend of a friend. It sounds more like a friend of a friend. A friend of a friend named Lazarus. And he's ill. And he's gonna head there. He died. And there's not much to talk about right here specifically. It's gonna go back. We're gonna get more into it. But I just want a quick thought. I just realized the Lazarus Pit from Batman is based on this. That's crazy. From DC. I never knew that, and I've heard this story before, but it just now popped into my mind. So like a couple of videos ago in 25 for one of my Bible readings, I literally said that a lot of the stuff in our culture and just in society is based off the Bible, and that's another thing. So just a cool little bit of information. So Jesus gets there, but Lazarus had already been dead for 4 days. And when he got there, Martha, which is Lazarus' sister, said to Jesus, "If you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you." And Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise again." And she said, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." And Jesus told her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this?" And she told him, "Yes, she does." So Jesus tells them to take off the stone. I think he's like in like a coffin or something, like a stone coffin, like a tomb almost. And Jesus tells them, "Take off the lid, take away the stone." And then Jesus talks to God and says, "Father, I thank you for the time that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you sent me." And then he cried out, "Lazarus, come out." And the man who had died came out, his hands and feet bound with linen straps. So he was like wrapped up like a mummy, but sounds like. And he was alive. Oh my gosh, this next one's called The Plot to Kill. I don't even feel comfortable saying it, honestly, but like, to kill him. Okay, so the Pharisees heard about him raising the dead, and they're like, "We need to get rid of him because he's going to make everyone believe in him, and it's going to topple our government." And they said that it's better for him to die than for everyone to die because they believe the Romans were going to invade or something if it happened. So Jesus went to a feast in Bethany where Lazarus and Martha were there, and Martha served him, and Mary took a pound of ointment and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. I'm just having trouble. That can't be efficient. I'm sorry. It just can't be efficient to wipe someone's feet with your hair. There's got to be a cloth, some kind of cloth. Use your shirt or something. So then Judas, the guy everyone knows who Judas is, well, I guess was, and he gets mad that the ointment that was used on Jesus wasn't sold to the poor. And he didn't say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief, and if he had to charge the money back, he would take some of it. Do you think did Jesus know the whole time? I'm sure he did, but it doesn't really say. Well, not. I'm sure it might say, but hasn't said yet. Anyways, we did the 15 minutes from last week. We're at 25 minutes exactly now of reading today. No, it wasn't that bad. It went by kind of fast. I'll be reading today. I'll read again tomorrow. Praise God. Praise Jesus. Amen. All right. I've also been slacking on saying what I started at and what I read to because there was that break. So I'm gonna tell you what I read to. So I'm not sure where we started, but we ended on John 18:13, about to start betrayal and arrest of Jesus. So that's where we're at. All right. So I'm not mentioning anything specific, but throughout this last couple passages, it's been saying that God knows his time's coming. So that's I didn't know that God knew when he was gonna die, which is kind of interesting. I forget if I mentioned this, but Jesus was washing the disciples' feet, and he mentioned that one of them wasn't clean even after being cleaned, washing their feet. And then now I'm on a different part, and Jesus was troubled in his spirit and said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me." And the disciples weren't sure who it was, and then they all are wonder, and then they're all asking Jesus, "Who is it?" And then he says, "It is he to whom I will give this morsel of bread when I have dipped it." So then he dipped it and gave it to Judas. And then after he had taken the morsel, so I assume he literally gave it to Judas, like, and Judas took it. And when Judas took it, Satan entered into him. And then Jesus said, "What are you going to do? Do quick. What you are going to do quickly." And then Judas left. So this is where he says that one rule: "I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another." So Jesus says, "No one comes to the Father except through me." So that brings up an interesting question. What if someone doesn't know who Jesus is or God is? What if they're on an island if they'd never heard of Christianity or anything? And they just don't know how. But let's say they're a really great guy. They're a stand up guy. Would he not be able to go to heaven because he didn't go directly through Jesus? Even if he's Jesus, but he doesn't know who Jesus is, could he still go to heaven? I like to believe that he still could because I feel like it would be wrong if he couldn't. But no one really knows until we're there. No, Loki, it kind of looks like we're almost done based on the appearance of how many pages there is, but there's Loki still 500 pages. So I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna finish this soon. No, I'm not. All right, my bad. I didn't record last night. I was like, so I was gonna record. I always usually do it in the mornings, but then I ran out of time and I was running late. Holy moly, my hair's chopped. I just got a shower, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it after work. And then I had to work 10 hours, and so I got home at 1 a.m. and I didn't feel like reading. So now I'm just gonna read 20 minutes. All right, so I want to go over what Jesus says right here. He says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him." Okay, well, I just want to go over the first part. I just kept reading it for a minute, but so it says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser," which to me is like he's a product, but God's placing him because his father's God. I don't know what vine dresser entirely means, but I assume that means placing it. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. So I don't know what they mean by he takes away, but I assume that means like it could mean either one of two things. It could mean someone that doesn't believe in God or like doesn't accept God or something like that, or someone that believes in God but isn't producing like or isn't following the way. So not like they die or something. I imagine it. I don't imagine it means that. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. So he helps the ones that are bearing fruit and helps them bear more fruit, which could be like spreading the gospel. Also, I don't know if that's entirely true. That's just my interpretation. Ooh, he spits a bar. "If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you." So kind of like that one line that people say, like, I forgot. I don't know. I genuinely forgot. It's something like, how can you care about what other people think when they hated a perfect man or something like that, which was Jesus. This part kind of like, at first glance, it doesn't seem that important, but it actually is fire. It says, While I was with them, this is Jesus speaking, by the way. While I was with them, I kept them in your name, which you have given me. I have guarded them, and not one of them has been lost except the son of destruction. So, by the son of destruction, they're talking about Judas because he was a betrayer. And by son of destruction, I think they mean the guy downstairs. So it's just, God, Jesus protects you and God protects you,